So first thing I need from you, just for recording purposes, is your name and what you do, basically.
Okay, my name is Ravenous Randy, and I am currently the ECCW Canadian Champion. Actually, I'm not the Canadian Champion. Let's redo that. The ECCW Champion, Ravenous Randy.
Perfect. And how long have you been with ECCW?
I've been with ECCW off and on for the past 5 years, but consistently for the last 2.5.
Okay, cool. And I guess to start off, how did you originally get into wrestling?
Well, I got into wrestling at a very young age. My father wasn't around, so I was always looking for like kind of macho influences. And who's more macho than the Macho Man? So they became the guys that I always looked up to, were the professional wrestlers. And then being born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, I was lucky enough to be in Hart country. So as soon as I turned of age, I went to the Hart family dungeon.
The Stampede Wrestling.
Exactly, Stampede Wrestling all the way.
Of course, and I guess obviously watching is different. How did you get into it yourself as a wrestler?
Well, I was always involved in drama and stuff like that, so I wasn't much for sports or anything like that, but like I said, I was always a big die-hard wrestling fan, so I tried to work in wrestling into my theatrical works whenever I could, and I'd get in trouble from my drama teacher for taking backdrops on the stage or giving suplexes to my friends, and eventually I got kicked out of drama for being too rough because I didn't want to do their lame pratfalls or their pulled punches or any of that stuff. So I was like, well, I've always wanted to be involved in theater, I've always loved wrestling, I don't exactly follow lines very well, maybe I should see what this wrestling thing's about. And as soon as I pitched the idea to my mom about actually getting trained, she was really happy that I wasn't going to be rolling around with my friends in the backyard or breaking our futons anymore. So,
you know, that's actually one of my questions was, did you get flack from your parents? And obviously not, but what about friends? Was that cool as well?
Oh, totally. Well, I got lots of flack. I was like 130 pounds when I first started wrestling. I was like 6'2", 130 pounds. And yeah, I look like basically Kermit the Frog. So they were like, there's no way you're going to be a wrestler, man. You've got the energy, you've got the personality, sure, but you don't have the body type or the athleticism to do that. So there was definitely some naysayers out there, you know what I mean? But they just fuel the fire.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that became your passion, is to prove them wrong almost.
Yeah, somewhat, but also to prove the people who believed in me right. You know what I mean? I'm always more glass half full kind of guy or whatever. So my mom was always a big believer in me, and I did have a lot of support from other people. So I wanted to prove them right and prove the other people wrong.
So with that, what is life like being a wrestler?
Oh, it's great. I couldn't imagine being anything else. I've been doing it for 14 years now, so it's a big part of me. I'm 31, so started when I was 17. I'm almost at that halfway mark where I've been wrestling nearly half my life. So I can't imagine doing anything else. The joy and excitement I get to put on fans' faces, the thrills I get from taking the bumps and the spills and giving them out as well, it's incredible. I get to travel all over. I've got to do tours of the UK. I've got to go down to Florida. I've been to Hawaii. I've been all over the place, getting to like perfect my craft and be goofy all over the place. So it's been awesome. It's the best. I honestly can't say enough good things about it. In this life, you gotta find what you do, find what you're good at, and exploit it, and that's what I have. So
exactly, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. When
totally,
you love it, right?
Yeah.
How can you describe getting into a character as a wrestler? Because obviously, it's not just you're wrestling a guy; you're becoming almost someone else. Right?
Yeah. Well, I know that a lot of guys are very big on gimmick is the term that we use normally in wrestling for somebody's personality that they use inside of the ring. And then there's some guys who put on a completely different persona. Outside of the ring, they're mild-mannered, and inside they're maybe like a wild man from Borneo or something like that. And then there's some people who just amplify their personality times 15 or 20 or 1,000, and I would say that's me, you know what I mean? I just turn it up to 1,000,001 and go out there. So there's not so much a line between Ravenous Randy inside the ring and Randy Myers outside the ring. It's pretty much just hyper is the difference, you know what I mean? Just hyping it up as much as I can.
Because you got to work with the crowd, right?
Exactly, you just roll with it. And the more energy you put out there, the more energy they'll give back to you. So you want to put out as much as humanly possible.
What is it that maybe you do that pumps up the crowd?
Like I said, I've got infectious energy, so I just try and put that out there, whether that be moving weird or dancing weird or making funny faces. I try and roll with the punches as best I can. I did do a lot of improv work when I was in high school, so that kind of helps me with being on my toes at all the time.
So even though you didn't want to pursue acting, maybe it helped out.
It definitely helped out. It helped out in leaps and bounds.
Definitely. So, so I guess with that, what kind of training do you guys do as wrestlers? You know, obviously, like I said, it's not just in ring; it's your personality as well. What type of training do you do for that?
Well, we do. I do 6 days a week in the gym and do 3 days a week in the wrestling ring. So there's all that training. On top of that, I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly watching things, watching comedy, watching improvisers, trying to get ideas from here, trying to get ideas from there. Every good wrestler should have a notepad that they're constantly writing ideas in, good, bad, ugly, and then just kind of go through it later and see what kind of sticks or whatever. So wrestling's a lot more than just being physical. Like you said, you have to have that mental grasp on it as well and some sort of personality to put out there.
So in terms of, you know, personality in ring or whatever, when you're doing interviews for the show,
yeah.
Do you guys do any, you know, acting classes in terms of that, or that's just kind of your own?
Well, that's up to us. Like if we want to take acting classes, no one's going to tell us not to, but it's not a must for wrestling. So I think the guys that have will exceed better than the ones who haven't, because it's all about entertainment. And so if you're not being entertaining and you're like, yeah, I really like to do hip tosses and suplexes, you know, it's kind of neat, then you don't sound like anything, you know what I mean? But if you're like, step into the ring with me and you will be thrown from pillar to post and I will come off the top rope with the most dazzling maneuvers you have ever seen in your entire life. You know, if you got that, that's easier to sell people into the building.
Of course, and that'll bring fans in. What can you say about the fans, I guess, of wrestling or even ECCW?
I've been, like I said, wrestling for 14 years, and I've seen all sorts of shapes and sizes of fans, and my absolute favorite, without pandering, I don't mean to pander at all, but the ECCW fans are amazing. The fans we have at the Russian Community Center in Kitsilano are like no other. They're loud, they're exciting, they're rowdy, but there's nothing you have to worry about, you know what I mean? They just have that kind of energy that we feed off of and they feed off of ours, and it just works out so perfectly.
You know, sometimes with hockey there's fights in the crowds, but you see, you know, WWE, ECCW, whatever it may be, you're never going to see a fight in the crowd. They're respectable, right?
Exactly. They've been awesome to us. Like, we have security, obviously, but they're very rarely used. We had an incident not too long ago where a lady came in the ring and decided to flash. But you know what? That's not the end of the world, no. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. And I guess, what can you say about your career in the ECCW?
Oh, it's been nothing but up. I came in here as a guy from Alberta that had a fair bit of knowledge under his belt, but they've given me so much more knowledge and really taken me under their wing. Scotty Mack and Natural and Mary, I can't say enough positive things about the people at ECCW as well as the wrestlers in the back. Again, it sounds like pandering, but it's not. I love these people so much. They've given me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, getting to main events, a show like the Sellout Commodore Ballroom Brawl that we had, and go home with the ECCW title at our biggest show ever. What more could I ask for? You know what I mean? They've been great to me.
Of course, and for them to show you that respect, how does that make you feel as well?
Oh, that's what it's all about. In wrestling, we know how it is. I'm not going to out anything here, but we know how it is in wrestling. So to me, being given the championship shows that they believe in you. You know what I mean? They're hitching their wagon to your horse, and for them to do that with me is so respectful, and it means so much to me. I'm so honored.
Of course, and with the ECCW, what do they give to you? Like, do they give back, or do you guys give back to the community? Anything like that?
Oh, we do all sorts of things. We do charity events all the time. We work with the Adventurers Camp down in Abbotsford, and we run shows there every other month or so, and we go there and perform for the people at that camp. We also have done things for the food bank out in Port Coquitlam. We just did something for Bingo for Life last weekend, or last Wednesday it was, for their, they raise money for gay rights or AIDS and stuff like that. So Yeah, anywhere we can help out, we will, for sure. So if anyone's listening to this that is has a charity that thinks wrestlers could help out with, get in touch with us because we're more than willing to help.
Cool. Yeah, we definitely have opportunities to bring that in, like for you guys as well, to help out. And we write commercials for local companies, so that'd be great for you guys as well.
Cool. Yeah, I got a voice for radio and a face for it too.
Yeah, that's why I'm in it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So recently, Diamond Dallas Page, you had Tommy Dreamer, and
It was Valvinus we actually
Valvinus,
had. Yeah.
right? But in the past, Tommy Dreamer.
Well, he was actually for the other company in town, but there has been, we do bring in all sorts of different names. We have Colt Cabana coming in for one of our big shows. We have had Davey Boy Smith Jr. He changes his name so often that I think he's going with Davey Boy Smith Jr. right now, though. So we've had many stars come, Honky Tonk Man, all sorts of guys come through here.
How does that make you guys feel? Is it just awesome that they're almost coming to help you guys out?
For sure, and they're always cool too. That's the thing, you know what I mean. Valvinus was probably one of the coolest guys I've ever met. So was Diamond Dallas Page, just willing to come in at the last minute, and help out our event, and also doing such good things for wrestling in general. You know what I mean? Like Diamond Dallas Page has been helping out some of the fallen wrestlers from the past. You know what I mean, and really making them, shine again, which is great to see.
And that's awesome for you guys and the company to, bring up the name as well.
Totally, of course, yeah. And for him to be cool is awesome. You worry about actually meeting your stars sometimes and that they might actually not be as cool as you think they might be, but I've been fortunate enough that everyone that I've looked up to and actually got to meet has actually been badass, so it's really cool.
It's the only thing you can ask for.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Do you have any final comments about being a wrestler, living the life of a wrestler, anything like that?
I would just say, this life is just like making it is what you make of it. You know what I mean? I have had friends that have been in WWE and not necessarily been as happy as they could be. I've had friends that work the indies that aren't as happy as they can be. Your life, you just live day by day. And you know what I mean? We make our own moments, so make your own moment.
Perfect. I appreciate you doing this with me
Awesome.
today.
Thank you so much, man.
And, thank you very much.
Anytime, dude. Anytime we can.